Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fabulous Friday. And of course, me, Craft Eccentricity. I hope you're having an awesome day today. And of course, we're at the weekend, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend too. Right, Panalisa, and let's make this. We're going to do a nature inspired card using this gorgeous pack that you saw me haul yesterday, which is mushrooms, poppies. You've got the little squirrel there, and you've also got the owl. And I'm using the largest of the cloches that I showed yesterday, and also a few from the leaf set. So that's what I'm using. And I've just grabbed a roll of Dollar Tree foam pads, and it just unravelled on my lap. That's good, isn't it? So I'm using foam pads if I need them, and also foam tape if I need it. And I'm going to be using Distress today rather than Oxide, and I'm going to be using black soot. Now I can already see that my camera, there we go, black soot, it's in there, pre-inked up I hope, and I've got one of my doodahs to stick that on, and I've also got my black soot Distress ink. Now the reason I want to do the Distress ink rather than the Oxide is because I'm looking for a sort of like more natural watery effect from the ink, if you know what I mean. Oxide is a solid colour when you put it down, and it's not actually a true black, the black soot isn't. So I'm using my black soot Distress, and it will be more inky than painty, if you know what I mean. And also my beloved Dollar Tree Jot Glue in my little AliExpress squirted bottle. Right, now then, I'm going to move these over to the side just for a second because I've been organised and I've done some cutting. Right, get all my bits up before me. Right, the first thing that I did was I fussy cut the owl from that pack, which is a lovely size, and I also fussy cut the squirrel. Now, I'm pretty sure the owl would be bigger than the squirrel, so I think that's kind of to scale. And I also cut lots of the leaves, and I used one of the sheets of paper in that pack to do the green, and it's that kind of painterly dot. There you go. That's what that looks like. And as I said, I've done quite a few of those, so I'm just picking them up. So I'm chucking those there, but I only did 2 in gold. Now the sheet of paper that I'm using for the base of the card is this one, and it's got a large poppy. Now attached to this sheet, which is the cloth sheet, was a small poppy, so I've cut my cloche out of that. But my smaller poppy, I fussy cut it because I thought, this being the base, I can pop that onto there, curl it up a little bit, and it'll give that flower up there a little bit of extra dimension. But for the absolute base and for the cloche, I use some craft cardstock. So you can see, if I pick this up here and remove that, that is going to go onto there, and the base is 6 inches. These paper packs are 6 inches square, but I cut my paper pack down to 5 3/4 so that it will fit in just inside of that little notched edge there. My throat is very itchy today. Right, so you can see the base there. You can see I've got my cloche there. Whoops, pick that up. I've got my cloche frame. So you can start to see it coming together already. And then your little base goes underneath all of that, which is not very tidy at the moment. And then of course my poppy is going to go there, and then I'm just going to sort of like finagle it all around until I'm happy with how it looks. Right, so the first thing I want to do is stick that sheet of paper down onto the base, and I'll be right back. Right, so I've got my base where I want it, and the next thing for me to glue is the cloche. So I need to put some glue onto the reverse side of its frame here, and I haven't tested my bottle, and I hope it's going to work. Oh yes, there we go. So I don't want to put too much on, just enough to hold it. There we go. And if I flip that over, it's always better when you're trying to I'll grab that paper, center things up. It's always better to start with, you know, a defining big bit. That's what I'm going to call it. And for me, it's the circle bit at the top. And then your other bits, you can just, you know, once you've got that there, she says picking it up. It's all right. I've got no nails, and I don't plan on having any until the fall, because I'm just too busy gardening. Right, you can see that bit there, so you need to slide that along, and then you've got it centre. So there's your cloche. So I'm just going to give that a little squeeze. Now my cloche is going to go up on foam, and I need to be able to build some dimension because of where I want my owl. So that is the cloche base, and your cloche needs to sit, you know, pretty central within that curve. Now I can glue that down if I want to, but I don't have to because I am using foam tape. Or shall I say, for this one, I'm going to use some foam pads. I'm just going to rip a bunch off so they don't all unravel on me again. And where you can see that, if you're not confident like me about actually getting it in the correct place, then just eyeball it, and I think that's okay. Let's get it over there just a little bit more. Hold it down with a finger, and then pop your pads there. Have a look at it before you squeeze down flat, and that's okay for me. So now I can just work on the back, and those pads are going to hold that cloche base down. So I didn't have to use any glue. And because these are the kinds of cards that are quite touchy-feely, I'm not squeezing that down yet in case it's gone off edge. You'll find people enjoy touching them, so, you know, it's important to put plenty on. Now, you can see I've gone off edge slightly there, and because I didn't squeeze it down, it gives me the opportunity to just go in and cut it off. So what I do is bend it back just a little bit, get your scissors underneath, and remove it. There. Now we're nice and tidy again. And I just need a few more here. So I'm going to go into that bit there, and then I'm going to start going up the centre. Now, I don't like to go all the way to the edges on some things because I never know if I'm going to tuck something under. So I'm going to stay away from this area in case I use it. So I'm just going to put one there, and then I'm going to cut half of one and use that for the little handle bit up there. And I'm going to go lengthways in case I want anything coming out of the handle. So rather than cover the whole thing up with tape, I've still got some space that if I want to, I can tuck something under. So that is now all up on pads. Now the reason for that is because there's always got to be a reason for something. That's what my hubby's always saying. You can't just do it. There's got to be a reason for it. Really? No. If I pull that down a little bit, I want my owl to be in here. So my owl needs to go to the back. And it complements this little row of owls that we've got going on here. So that's where my owl is going to go. And now I'm just going to grab a pen. Yeah, I know, I'm really skilled. And I'm going to curl some of this. Not too much though. And I'm going in with my ink, so I need to get my black soot. There we go. And I can tell you that my black ink probably needs re-inking. I don't have to do it too often, but I'm wondering if I've got the date on there to show you, because my ink pads are absolutely ancient. I don't know if there's a date on there or not. A lot of my other pads have got dates. Oh, there you go, 2011. There it is. Teeny tiny. Probably won't show it. Ah, there you are. Tinton Falls, New Jersey, 2011. So here's a 12-year-old ink pad. And these inks really, really are good. I'm just picking some up here. I absolutely love my distress inks. And I want to define the edge of my poppy. Because it's in a layer, I want to be able to see that it's a layer. So I'm just touching that all around the edges to give it a nice little shadow. I'll just pull forward on where I curled it. As I said, I didn't over curl it because, you know, I don't want it to catch on anything, but I want to be able to see that I'd put the effort into doing it. So that is actually going to sit in there. Ooh, did I go blurred again? It's like whenever I get my ink pads or anything out and start moving around rapidly, everything goes haywire. Right, so I've got a foam pad here. Oop, that was a bit sticky. And I'm going to just do it like this. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to size it up here with the base of this poppy and just place it down. I'm just pinching it just a little bit. There we go. So it looks like, you know, a little bit more effort was put in. And then, of course, I've got my cloche, which is going to come over and be central. And it kind of, it's just kissing the edge of that poppy. In fact, if I pick it up, you'll probably be able to see it better. But, you know, little details like that on a card can really make the difference. Right, now then, you've seen where my owl is going, right at the edge there. I'm going to glue it and come straight back. Right, so there's the little owl, and I did go around the edge with black ink, exactly the same as I did for the poppy. And I'm also going to go around my cloche with ink, even though I've got all the foam on there, just to define it from everything else. And you don't have to be perfect when you're doing this. You're just quite literally just tickling around the edges. And if you want to get in and use your foam ink pad to do, you know, kind of shading and blending, you can do that. So can you see it's slightly darker on this side, but actually I'd want it darker on that side. So if I go in with my ink there and then just sweep it along the edge to cast a shadow across your cardstock. And then you can do the same on this edge too, because my light is always coming from the left. Don't know why that is. I think I just prefer it that way. And even though, you know, this may get covered up and you may not see it, it's the kind of thing that I do anyway. So I've got a little bit of light coming in, and of course my cloche is coming down here. So that is that. Now what I'm going to do, peel the backs off. You don't want to watch me do that, so I'll pause and I'm going to stick it right down there. So I'm back already because I've peeled all of the backs off the cloche, so it's really sticky. But I've decided I'm not going to stick it down yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it upside down and utilise the fact that I don't have to use any glue, and just look at it, look at my composition and look at where I can put things. See, I've just stuck that down instantly now. As long as you're working within the confines of your card and you're not overlapping too much. Now, I actually think that I need one around by my poppy. If I go there, and then I'm going to have one of the chunky ones. See if there's anything for that to stick to. And then, of course, I need to leave some leaf because I want some at the front of it with the squirrel. But I'm just kind of feeling there. Right. So if I go down there, and I think that's in the centre. Sorry if I'm shouting, I'm standing up. Yeah, there we are. I am committed. So, sorry if my camera wobbles. So I'm sitting down again. So now I've got my greenery, which if I hold that up, you can see, you know, you've got little bits that are flopping around, which is nice. As I say, tactile. And you've got that bit there, which you could, if you wanted to, just grab that leaf and tuck it under the poppy. Ooh, I like that. Now, I cut some gold because, you know, sometimes you just need a little bit of something fancy. And this is what I mean about not putting your pads right up to the ends, because it gives you the opportunity to tuck things in. And I think I'm going to go with my green one there. And then I think I'm going to use my golds, because your gold is the special stuff. So a little bit of gold down there, I think. And then I think I'm going to have a gold in here. Or maybe I'll overlap it on the top. Yeah, I think that looks quite pretty actually. And then of course I've got my little squirrel, which needs inking up. And I'll just put that down somewhere. There it is. So he needs a shadow cast around him, bless him. So I'm just going around the edge to define him so that he stands out from the mushroom that it's going to be up against. Otherwise, because all the colours, I've got hiccups now, are so similar. That little black outline just gives it, you know, just a little bit of definition. So you can tuck the tail out of the way and go down the back. Also do a little bit, pull the tail towards you and hold it so that you don't crease it. And let's have a look at that. You know, you've got your little squirrel. And he can go lower than the cloche if you want him to. And he is going up on foam pads actually. So, yeah. I'm trying to think now. It's like flower arranging. Right, so I'm going to glue my green one. I'm just going to do the bottom leaves and the stem. And then just tuck that in there. Scoot that bit up and press it down. Going to do the same with the golds. Now this gold is also Panalisa that I got a couple of months ago, and it really is pretty. And it's not thick like regular glitter cardstock, if you know what I mean. It's almost like, I wouldn't say tissue paper. It's thicker than that, but if you know what I mean, it kind of, it just cuts and glues a lot easier. Some of the treated glitter cardstocks can take forever to dry. And I don't know if I want that on top of the fern or below the fern. I think I'll go on top. So I'm just touching that on there, and then I'm pulling it away so that I can see what's what. So I'm going to have green and gold together there, and then I'm going to flip that fern over. This might need just a little bit more glue down at the base of it. And then, do I want any of my squirrel hiding? That is the thing. Or do I want it on the top? I think I'll go with it on the top. You know, the funny thing is, I know that I've got the camera rolling at the moment, but I would quite literally be sitting here in my craft room talking to myself exactly the same way as I'm talking to you right now. I would be talking myself through the process, and the dogs would be looking at me like I was crazy. So I've got that little skinny piece of foam left, which I'm going to pop down there in the tail. Then I'm going to grab another couple of foam pads. I'll just move that out of the way for a minute so you can see this. So I'm popping one there, and then I think I might have to cut this one down, which is okay. And I'm going to go to its furthest point there, and then I've got this little skinny bit which if I cut it in half might be good for the arms and the head. So I'm just going to pop that little bit in there, and then I'm going to go down his head with that little piece. Now I need to look at that piece before I stick down, because I can see I need to trim just the edge off there, otherwise it's going to show through his arms. Right, so we're going to peel that off. I may need to stand up in a minute actually. I'm going to allow his tail to flop just in case I want to tuck that bit underneath the fern. I've got it stuck to my finger. I'm going to move the card down now. And then we're going to go in with our little squirrel. I'm going to stick him down there. And then, I don't know if I want his tail under there or not, or whether I should just let his tail be free. No, actually, I'm going to tuck it under there a little bit. Gives it just a little bit more of interest. Right, if I scoot all my pieces out of the way and sit down again, there we have it, our finished card. All done from Panalisa paper pack and the cloche die and the leaf die. But you see how that little bit of black ink just makes the squirrel pop forward from the mushrooms. And then of course you've got that lovely double layer of a poppy, and we've added in the owl. I love that. I mean, you could do the same thing on a journal cover or even a tag using the same papers or the same technique. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely awesome weekend. I'm going to be back up again on Monday with Panalisa, and as usual, all links below. Bye.